Oh, oh, oh. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। So yesterday Dr. Mara had read till 428 page. So I'm reading just one paragraph before that. It is not possible to imagine that Sankalpa alone changes the result, according to Vedanti. I repeat, it is not possible to imagine that Sankalpa alone changes the result, Vedanti. If there is no difference in the nature of the karma, whether it is a Nitya karma or a Kamya karma, the result should be the same. But the Purva Mimamsaka says that there is a special result for Kamya karma, which is not there for Nitya Agnihotra. If the Agnihotra done as Kamya karma implies additional rituals, etc., we can say that it has some other result because something more is added. But there is nothing else added to the Agnihotra, whether it is a Kamya Agnihotra or a Nitya Agnihotra. The method of doing it, iti kartavyata does not change. Iti kartavyata does not change. That being so, the special result of heaven for the Kamya karma can only be due to it being the result that is desired by the one performing the ritual. If the performer is the desire of some result like heaven, Swarga, if he has the result of heaven. But this cannot be a valid argument. It is like saying that if someone drives a car just for the sake of driving, he will not proceed anywhere. Whereas the one who drives to reach some destination will proceed. Is there any such thing? Suppose one person does the ritual for the sake of society and another does it for himself. Will the result be different? Because both are doing the same karma, the result will be the same. If one person goes around his neighborhood picking up trash because he wants to live in clean surroundings, and another person does it because he wants his neighbors to be happy, the result of the action is the same. The neighborhood is cleaned up. Just because one person is without personal desire, nishkama, will there be a better result? Will the adjacent neighborhood also be free from garbage? No, he has only cleaned up his own neighborhood. The result is the same, even though the bhavana, the attitude is different. That attitude does not improve the result of the action. It is going to be the same. Or suppose one person runs cross country to get into the Guinness Book of Records, and another person like Terry Fox does it for the Cancer Society. Will the result be different? The result is the same in the sense that both cover the same number of miles, even though the first one is a Kamya Karma and the second one is not. The second one is a Nishkama Karma. There is no difference in the Karma Phala, the difference is only in the attitude. Now, this is little. Shall I read once again? Because it is saying
Can you
that.
read the head? Yeah, please read it one more time because maybe
It
you would
is.
want to read one para before this and then come here, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Hariom, is this the Purvamimamsa's views or
Vedanti view.
Vedanti? But Vedanti, there's a slight confusion here. Like this the result would be the same, though the bhavna, the attitude is different. That I am not able to follow.
Yeah, so that's why Brahmaraj, even that is for me. So I will read just a page before that. I started from here, but I will read as Brahmaraj suggested. Just read. So two paragraphs before that I'm reading.
You can read from Shastra is not a pramana. One paragraph, one heading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shastra is not a pramana with reference to seen results, but only with reference to unseen results, Vedanti. There is yet another problem here. A number of karmas that we do are
Sorry, Bella, 1 minute. Can you just read the previous heading also?
Yeah. Yeah, heading is Shankara now makes another point as the performance of Kamya Karma is no different from that of Nitya Karma. The pain of Kamya Karma will also become result of Papa. Should I read from, because it is almost 2 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages. Should I read from that or from here?
Yeah, for us to understand better, I think it's better to read from Shankara's point.
Okay. Okay. Shankara now makes another point as the performance of Kamya Karma is no different from that of Nitya Karma. The pain of Kamya Karma will also become a result of Papa. Shankara now makes another point. Besides the Prayaschitta Karma, there are two other types of karma, as we saw, the Nitya karma and Kamya karma. When either of these two karmas is performed, there is pain involved. Agnihotra is a Nitya karma enjoined by the Veda as Nitya karma for all three Varnas. Now, the same Agnihotra ritual can also be done as a Kamya karma for a particular result with a particular sankalpa intention by the one who is performing it. Now, he does it as a Nitya karma or as a Kamya karma, either way, the pain in performing it is the same. When that is the case, how can you say that only the pain that is caused by the performance of the Nitya karma is the result of previous papas, but the pain of the Kamya karma is not? That should also be the result of previous papa because the pain experienced is the same. And if that is so, there will be no result for a Kamya karma because it was used to exhaust old papas. Then there will be no such thing as Kamya karma. Since there is no difference between the two types of karma in terms of pain, dukkha experienced, the pain involved in performing a kamya karma should also be a result of the wrong actions done in previous lives. The contention that the practice of nitya karma does not produce papa or punya, but it produces pain, which is the result of previous papa, causes another problem. Now, suppose I do not do any nitya karma. What will happen? There will be no pain. Therefore, you will say that the old papas are still waiting there. But when I perform the Nitya karma, the old karma gets exhausted by the very pain of performing the Nitya karma. Therefore, the experience of pain itself is the result of the Nitya karma. Having said that Nitya karma does not produce any result, and at the same time, to say that it produces the result of pain is a contradiction. Then there is a further problem. As we mentioned earlier, the Agnihotra can also be done as a Kamya karma if it is done for heaven, Swarga, or any other particular result apart from being done as a Nitya karma. What is then done in either case is the same thing. So the dukkha involved is the same, whether doing the Agnihotra takes you to heaven or does not produce anything. The method of doing it does not change, and there are no other additions or subtractions. There is no difference between the Agnihotra as a Nitya karma and the Agnihotra as a Kamya karma, except in the attitude of the one who is doing it. Since karma is the same, how can you say that one will produce a result and the other not? Even if you are not interested in it, doing a ritual enjoined by the Veda will produce punya. Since you are not interested in that punya, doing the ritual can give you antakarana shuddhi. But at the same time, even though you are indifferent to it, punya will be getting accumulated in your name. It is like your father saving money for you. Even though you do not care for it, he goes on piling it up in your name. Just because we are not interested in certain things, it does not mean that they do not happen. Karma will produce a result and there will be punya for a Vedic karma. The point here is that there is no moksha by karma. This plan of doing nitya karma and avoiding kamya and pratisiddha karma so that when the prarabdha karma gets exhausted, you will naturally get moksha, will not work. That is why karma yoga is not merely doing a particular karma. It is a change of attitude that makes the difference between karma as a yoga and karma done for the result. If the person doing the karma is a mumukshu, a seeker who wants moksha, he is not interested in dharma, artha, or kama. And the karma that he does is not meant to produce those results. Its purpose is to prepare his mind so that he can gain knowledge. Now, in the performance of the Agnihotra as a Nitya Karma, there is a certain exertion involved. According to the Purva Mimamsaka, that exertion is the result of previous papa that gets exhausted in the experienced in performing the ritual. But what happens when you perform the Agnihotra as a Samya Karma? The same pain is experienced because all the actions, mantras, offerings, etc. are the same. If that pain is the exhaustion of previous karma, in a Nitya Agnihotra, it must be the same for a Kamya Agnihotra because the performance of the two is identical. In that case, how is the Kamya Agnihotra going to produce heaven, Swarga, for you? When you perform the Kamya Agnihotra, it is performed exactly like the Nitya Agnihotra because there is no difference in the karma. The same person performs the same actions, the same things are used, the mantras are the same, the things that are offered, the things that are necessary, like fire, etc., are all the same. If the Nitya Agnihotra implies all those things, the very same things are implied in performing the Kamya Agnihotra, the desired prompted karma. Therefore, what will happen? Because the Kamya Agnihotra has the same pain as the Nitya Agnihotra, the old papas get exhausted as they do for the Nitya Agnihotra. And there will not be any special result for the Kamya Agnihotra karma unless the pain of the Kamya karma can be differentiated from that of the Nitya karma. It cannot be said that that same pain exhausts papas in one karma but not in the other. In that case, there would be no result for the Kamya karma. Its result also gets resolved in the form of pain that is involved in the performance of it. However, the Purva Pakshi acknowledges that Kamya Karma does produce a result. That is why he says it should be avoided in his plan for moksha. If the Purva Pakshi says now that this is not true because no result is told in the Shruti for a Nitya Karma, whereas there is a result mentioned for a Kamya Karma, and therefore the Kamya Karma does have a result, Shankara gives the following answer. He says, your argument based on the Arthapatti that Arthapatti that because there is no phala mentioned in the Shastra for Nitya Karmas, and yet they have been ordained by the Shastra, the pain involved in their performance is due to the duritas accumulated in the past janmas is not tenable. Shankara continues the argument further using Purva Pakshi's own argument and says the Nitya karmas have to have some phala other than the pain of doing them because they have been deliberately ordered by the Shruti, like the Kamya karma. Otherwise, there would be a contradiction. So Shankara has supported their own argument that it is when you are doing the karma like Kamya karma with some intention, you get some result as per the Shruti. But Purva Pakshi, they are saying that the pain involved in both, the procedure involved in both are the same. And they say it is due to your Purva Janma Papas. I hope that it is clear. I repeat once again the last paragraph. Shankara continues the argument further using Purva Pakshi's own argument and says the Nitya karmas have to have some phala other than the pain of doing them because they have been deliberately ordered by the Shruti, like the Kamya karma. Otherwise, there would be a contradiction.
Isn't it? So, the Purva Pakshi says, Nitya karma does not produce result. Only Kamya karma does. So, what Shankara is saying is, this is not true. Just like how Kamya karma produces a result, Nitya karma will also produce a result. If you recollect, Purva Pakshi's contention is that doing Nitya karma is only going to exhaust your duritas. You will not accrue any new karma. And therefore, just by performing Nitya karma till your last breath, you will attain moksha. This is what Shankara is refuting now. He says, you say you don't do kamya karma because you'll get some result. How can kamya karma produce result while nitya karma does not? Both are karmas which are ordained by Shruti. So there is a contradiction there. So what Shankara is saying is, it is only in the attitude. Agnihotra is the same, whether you perform it as kamya karma or as just as nitya karma. It's a nitya karma. Whether you want to do it for as a kamya karma or as a non-kamya karma, as a nitya karma, the attitude with which you do matters there. Whether you're doing it for dharma, artha, kama, or whether you're doing it just for antakarana shuddhi.
So only sankalpa changes, right? The mantra changes, right? When you chant.
Mantra does not change. Mantra remains the same. It's the attitude. Yeah, your inner attitude is what makes a difference. Like he gave the example of cleaning up your neighborhood. Whether you want to clean up the neighborhood because you want to be happy or whether you want to make others happy. That was what there was one example.
Yeah, it will come. It will come in the later.
Yeah. So you can continue reading now.
Yeah. Yeah, Savitaji was something.
No, I was just saying that the difference is only in the bhavna. So it is nitya karma will also give result, and the kamya will give according to with what attitude you are doing, you will get the result. And nitya karma will automatically will give result because every action has a result. So that will the action is happening. So we will get some result. But when there is a kamana there, that there is a bhavna, you want something, then you will achieve that after doing that activity. According to Shruti, it's an unseen result, right? With Nitya Karma.
Yeah, Drishta Phala.
And we read initially also, no, the Nitya Karma are ordained by the Shastra. They are just, they are, as we are doing, it is only we are preparing our mind. That for the Antakaran Shuddhi, it is happening. So though the results are there, but we are not able to see. They are the unseen result basically. If you are doing just your Nitya Karma, you don't have any goal or any desire behind them, and you are just doing them consistently, then basically we are like preparing the ground, preparing the mind, and that Antakarna Shuddhi is happening. So that is the unseen result, which is we are getting that result. It is that which is going on, but we do not notice it.
Just like FD depositing from our father.
Yeah.
Beautiful, yeah. And after saying that it will be a contradiction, Shankara elaborates how it would be a contradiction. He says to the Purva Pakshi, on one hand, you say that when one does the Nitya Karmas as ordained, one is actually neutralizing the duritas of previous karma. That itself is the phala for the Nitya Karma. And then you also say the Nitya Karmas have no phala. This is a contradiction. He says further to the Purva Pakshi, suppose you say that the Kamya karmas like Agnihotra have the result of going to heaven, etc., then it would mean that the Kamya Agnihotra has another result other than the exhaustion of Papa, namely going to heaven. That means there should be some difference between the pain involved in the Nitya karma and that of the Kamya karma. But there is no difference at all. The same thing has to be done by the same person in the same way. When there is no difference whatsoever in the karma, how will one produce a result and the other not produce the same result? The pain that is born of doing the kamya karma is not seen at all as being different. It is the same. Just because a karma is done with a certain attitude, it does not mean the karma will not produce the specified result. If the pain is the visible result, drishta phala, it is the same for both. The nitya karma produces dukkha, pain, and the kamya karma also produces dukkha. If both have the same result, that is pain, how can you say that the Kamya karma produces some other result such as heaven, etc., and the Nitya karma does not? Shastra is not a pramana with reference to seen results, but only with reference to unseen results. Vedanti. There is yet another problem here. A number of karmas that we do are laukika karmas. That is, they are not enjoined or prohibited by the Shastra. Exercise, for example, is not enjoined by the Shastra, nor is it prohibited. It is not like the daily prayers at dawn, noon, and dusk that are enjoined by the Shastra for certain people with statements such as Aharah Sandhyam Upasita. I hope it is Aharah.
Aharahaha. It is
Ahara.
yeah, it is morning, night. Aharahaha.
Aharaha. Sandhyam Upasita. It is a thing to be done, but there are a number of activities we do which are not enjoined by the Shastra as things to be done or not. What is the result of such karmas? They have an immediate result that is visible at the very time that the karma is being done. When you exercise, there is the visible result of sweating and depletion of energy. It is not going to earn punya or papa for you because it is not mentioned by the Shastra as a thing to be done or avoided. From that, we understand that a particular karma that is enjoined or prohibited by the Shastra has an unseen result, adrishta phala. There alone, Shastra serves as a means of knowledge, pramana. Shastra is not pramana with reference to visible results, drishta phala, but to subtle, unseen results, adrishta phala. When the Shastra says that one should not eat meat, kalanjam na bhakshayet, it is not on the grounds of health. Though it may confirm your common sense, your instinctive values, it has some other purpose. By prohibiting it, the Shastra tells us that doing such an action will produce an unseen, undesirable result, papa, that will be experienced as an unpleasant situation at some time in the future. As a prohibited karma will produce an adrishta phala called papa, an enjoined karma will produce punya. Because punya and papa are not immediately seen by you, they are called adrishta, but they are standing in your account. How do we know? Because the Shastra says so. There is no other means of knowledge for it. The result that is seen is not the concern or the domain of the Shastra. When this is so, if the pain that is involved in Kamya Karma as well as the Nitya Karma is the only result of doing them, why should the Shastra enjoin us to do them? The Shastra need not tell us how to get an immediate result. And why should it tell us to do something that is going to cause pain? In fact, doing a karma enjoined by the Veda helps us avoid pain. I do not know anything about an Agnihotra karma, and when I look into the Shastra, I find that it tells me that I must do this daily. Why do I do it? Because I will get some result. And what is the result? Well, if it is pain, dukkha, who will do it? How can the Shastra enjoin it? The Shastra does not have to say anything about a visible result. If it did, there would be no effort on the part of the Shastra to enjoin a karma which is meant to produce an unseen result like heaven, etc. If karmas produce only visible results, drishtaphala, why should the Shastra engage itself in pointing out results like heaven that are unseen results, adrishtaphala? They will fructify in time, either in this life, later, or in another life. Therefore, the unseen result alone is in the vision of the Shastra when it enjoins a karma. It is not possible to imagine that Sankalpa alone changes the result. Vedanti. If there is no difference in the nature of the karma, whether it is a Nitya karma or a Kamya karma, the result should be the same. But the Purva Mimamsaka says that there is a special result for Kamya Karma, which is not there for Nitya Agnihotra. If the Agnihotra done as Kamya Karma implies additional ritual, etc., we can say that it has some other result because something more is added. But there is nothing else added to the Agnihotra. Whether it is a Kamya Agnihotra or a Nitya Agnihotra, the method of doing it, iti kartavyata, does not change. That being so, the special result of heaven for the Kamya Karma can only be due to it being the result that is desired by the one performing the ritual. If the performer is the desirer of some result like heaven, Swarga, he has the result of heaven. But this cannot be a valid argument. It is like saying that if someone drives a car just for the sake of driving, he will not proceed anywhere. Whereas the one who drives to reach some destination will proceed. Is there any such thing? Suppose one person does the ritual for the sake of the society and another does it for himself. Will the result be different? Because both are doing the same karma, the result will also be the same. If one person goes around his neighborhood picking up trash because he wants to live in a clean surroundings and another person does it because he wants his neighbors to be happy, the result of the action is the same. The neighborhood is cleaned up. Just because one person is without personal desire, nishkama, will there be a better result? Will the adjacent neighborhood also be free from garbage? No, he has only cleaned up his own neighborhood. The result is the same, even though the bhavana, the attitude, is different. The attitude does not improve the result of the action. It is going to be the same. Or suppose one person runs cross country to get into the Guinness Book of Records and another person like Terry Fox does it for the Cancer Society. Will the result be different? The result is the same in the sense that both cover the same number of miles, even though the first one is a Kamya Karma and the second one is not. The second one is a Nishkama Karma. There is no difference in the Karma Phala. The difference is only in the attitude. So the result will remain the same if you perform it for dharma, artha or kama, or you perform it for moksha, only moksha. It depends on the performer, with what attitude he is doing the karma. Therefore, it is untenable to say that Nitya karma has no punya phala. Since there is no improvement in the way it is done, there should be no special result for the Kamya Karma. It should be the same as the result of the Nitya Karma. When the result is the same, how can you say that only the Nitya Karma produces a result, whereas the Kamya Karma produces heaven? This is not possible for anyone to imagine. There must also be an unseen result, adrishta phala, for the nitya karma. It is a karma that is enjoined by the Veda. And when it is done, there must necessarily be punya. Therefore, the original argument that there is no result for the nitya karma, but there is fault incurred if it is not done, akarane pratyavaya dosha, is false. Shall I read further, or we want to do Manana and then? Should I read further? Kindly let me know if repetition is required.
So the argument was that if nitya karma is done, there is no result accrued. This is the Purva Pakshi stand. And if you don't do it, you'll get the Pratyavaya dosha, which is false. How can you? The very statement itself is contradicting itself. So if you do, you don't get any result. But if you don't do, you'll get a result. So what Shankara says is, whether you do it with an intention or as kamya karma or not, or you're just doing it plain as because it's ordained by the Shastra, the result is the same. Only the attitude, inner attitude is different when you're doing your, like the example given in cleaning up the neighborhood. Either you want to remain in a clean neighborhood, or you're doing it for the sake of the neighbors, for the whole neighborhood. The result is the same. The result is what? The neighborhood gets clean. And it is only this neighborhood that gets clean. There is no extra. The other neighborhood, the neighboring neighborhood does not get clean if you do just this cleanup of this neighborhood. So the result of nitya karma is same whether you do it with an attitude of kamya karma or otherwise. But he continues, I think earlier he had mentioned, but doing it as a karma yogi makes the difference. Because as a karma yogi, you are not focused on dharma, artha, kama. You are focused only on moksha. And therefore, the same nitya karma that you do will aid in cleansing your mind.
Yeah, should I read further? Any wants to wants me to repeat or share, please.
You can continue,
So
Bella.
this is a
Yeah.
So this is a confirmation that all our nitya karmas in the form of prayers or sadhana, they will give adrishta phala, right? It will be in the form of antakarana shuddhi as well as adrishta phala. I don't know why Purvamamsaka consider that there is a pain involved. The component of pain itself, I am not able to digest.
Yeah.
But just a point that it was, I don't know whether it is in the same context. My mother-in-law used to do Anusthana when she was Gayatri Anusthana during Navratris. And she used to face some trouble in the form of her normal menstrual cycles. So she had written to Puja Sri Ram Sharma and his wife that I am facing this problem every time when I want to do the Anusthana. And then they blessed her, and from then onwards, not a single Navratri was spoiled. I mean, she had that blessing grace. She could perform after that. That's what she was telling me. That while performing the things also, if even if you intend to do it with pure heart, but there will be some obstacles. So these obstacles are considered as pain. That's what I was just thinking. While performing this thing, it may be in any form, like
Obstacles would be the papa incurred in the previous lives, which are coming. And by the blessings of the saints, I think by the blessing that papa, you can say, it must have been neutralized or it must have been postponed. Otherwise, how do the blessings act? No, that blessings are to remove those obstacles which hinders the the action
performance.
anyway. Yeah.
Maybe, and your buddhi also, I mean, to keep it as a discipline, that you have to do it, that also is a grace.
Yeah, the strong will, if a person has a strong will, that whatever comes, he or she will perform this activity, then that, I think that grace also starts happening, that when you show your own purusharth, no, then you must be inviting the grace also to act.
Yeah, but I don't know, the concept of pain was not digestible to me. That it is out of joy you are doing. I mean, there again, the component of the doership. I think that is what is making the difference.
Purvamimansas, they must be having a very superficial knowledge, or maybe they weren't able to go into the depth of the words which was written in our Shastras. That is why at that time when Shankara was there working on reviving the philosophy of the all our Shastras, so that half knowledge and half understanding was happening, and that is why that Buddhism started at that time. And it was at that time that Shankara took a pledge to revive that Hinduism, that Sanatan Dharma, because of improper understanding of the Shastra was happening. The people weren't able to decipher the exact meaning of the Shastra. No, that is what is Shankara is doing. He's negating, and he's point, like he's explaining every point by point how, like he's contradicting all the views of these Mimamsas to anything like. But it's very interesting how Just like, the layers by layers, and just like you are dissecting a hair, rather. It is such fine dissection. Yeah.
Yeah. Nitya karma anusthana cannot remove karma totally, as it has its basis in ignorance. If he acknowledges that there is punya, there is another problem. Because there is punya for this karma, there has to be another birth, janma, to exhaust it. Also, though the karma may be able to neutralize the duritas that you brought with you and those that you gathered in this birth, it is not going to exhaust all the karmas standing in your account that has not yet begun to fructify. Anarabdha karma. Then again, I think I repeat, there is an internet unstable. Is it disturbing? Just let me know. Nitya karma anusthana cannot remove karma totally as it has its basis in ignorance. If he acknowledges that there is punya, there is another problem. Because there is punya for this karma, there has to be another birth, janma, to exhaust it. Also, though the karma may be able to neutralize the duritas that you brought with you and those that you gathered in this birth, it is not going to exhaust all the karmas standing in your account that has not yet begun to fructify. Anarabdha karma. Then again, we are not sure whether we can neutralize all the duritas simply by doing nitya karma. We may be able to neutralize some and minimize some, but we may not be able to totally eliminate all of them. If someone commits a homicide, he is not going to neutralize that with a couple of oblation. If he had killed a mosquito, it might be good enough, but not for something heinous. Every day we gather so many papas just to live our life. Because we cannot avoid them, we have to neutralize them. And for that, we do daily nitya karmas. It does produce an unseen result, adrishta phala, which may neutralize the papa that we collect day to day. Unless it produces a result, it is not going to neutralize anything. We have to produce an adrishta phala to neutralize the adrishta phala. It has to be of the same order of reality. Only the adrishta punya can neutralize the adrishta papa. And it can neutralize only the prarabdha papa karma phala, not the anarabdha papa karma phala. Therefore, a karma phala that was produced due to avidya, whether it is punya or papa, can be neutralized only by knowledge and not just doing the nitya karmas. This is a takeaway line. I repeat the last 2-3 lines. We have to produce an adrishta phala to neutralize the adrishta phala. It has to be of the same order of reality. Only the adrishta punya can neutralize the adrishta papa. And it can neutralize only the prarabdha papa karma phala, not the anarabdha papa karma phala. Therefore, a karma phala that was produced due to avidya, whether it is punya or papa, can be neutralized only by knowledge and not just doing the nitya karmas. What is the food? अविद्यापूर्वकस्य कर्मणः विद्या एव शुभस्य अशुभस्य वा क्षयकारणम् अशेषतः न नित्यकर्मानुष्ठानम्.
The example given when Arjuna is hit by the Nagastra, how Krishna just pushes the chariot down by an inch or so that it hits the crown and not his head. So that is the adrishta punya that he has accrued, which took away the adrishta papa in this life, in the prarabdha karma that is already started off. But that would not exhaust Arjuna's sanchita karma. So the nitya, see, any nitya karma that we do, any karma will have punya papa accrued to it. When you do nitya karma, according to the shastra, you attain some adrishta phala, which is punya. So this punya that you accrue is going to exhaust any adrishta papa that you have already started off in this birth, that you should exhaust. So for instance, if you have to go through some disease, it might become a little lighter, or you don't feel it as much as you would have if you did not do your nitya karma. So all this is fine with respect to this janma, but it will not exhaust the sanchita karma. Again, I mean, after doing all this argument, coming back to the bottom line is that it is only through knowledge that you can exhaust your sanchita karma.
So beautiful, no? Only the sword of knowledge is enough.
In yesterday's video which I have seen, that in that video Gurudev says with breath also you can remove that sanchita karma. Breath meditation.
I think we should understand what Gurudev is saying in the right context. See, breathing again is a karma, right?
Correct.
Meditation
Correct.
is also an act.
Correct.
So, by any action, see, because karma is born
but
of
we
avidya.
are not taking the breath, Brahmaraji. Is it we are taking the breath? It's just happening, but effort must be there. Okay, so when we are doing the pranayama, efforts are there.
So, but which means by doing pranayama, you'll get moksha, which is not
breathing,
true.
Breathing, there he said, no, the breath, how our breath should be. It should be, wait, what Gurudev says. It should not move. It should be steady breath till that time. Means the breath will be stabilized, no, like in a special rhythm. Then it will become a swabhava of your breath to be in that pace only. What I feel, like I think,
yeah, I know. We should understand what he said in what context.
Correct.
So
okay.
We cannot bring it out of context. So maybe you can share what he said. So when we understand it in the context, then it will be great. But otherwise, we'll be quoting Gurudev, and because he himself has said, no karma, no. Sorry to interrupt.
Breath is not a karma, I think. It's just happening. It's not controlled by us, because the last breath and first breath is fixed. But in between, whatever the breaths, we have that journey. When the breaths are like Gurudev control, means whatever breath gets stabilized or equilibrium, it's come in equilibrium, then I think some karma must be burning out. Okay, no problem. I will take it as a action.
breathing as action. No problem.
Gurudev himself has said, he says, none of your practices will give you liberation. In another context, he says, nothing of what you're doing will give you liberation.
But like Antakaran Shuddhi happens,
that is okay, that's fine.
Happens.
No, Antakarana Shuddhi is not moksha.
But after that, that stability has come, no, that maturity has come, then he can go forward like that.
That is okay. That is different. See, we'll have to get this clear. Antakarana Shuddhi is preparing the ground for the jnana to happen. Antakarana Shuddhi is not the goal. Antakarana Shuddhi is only one step before jnana can happen. Which is why all these karmas, whether it is fasting, whether it is Sudarshan Kriya, whether it's meditation, pranayama, whatever you take, is only going towards the Antakarana Shuddhi. So ultimately that Sanchita Papa or Sanchita Karma, whether it's Papa Punya, that whole, that the load of this infinite Sanchita Karma that is there in our account will not get exhausted by doing any amount of karma. Because every karma, now you're doing pranayama, that will lead to another phala. It is adding on to your sanchita. But what will happen? Yes, we understand him in the right context. This will, of course, create that antakarana shuddhi. And with an attitude of a karma yogi, if you're doing it, then, and you're also pursuing knowledge, it will then lead you to that state. Where that, with that grace, you're with the Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Atma Kripa, all of that, then you attain knowledge, you realize yourself. But per se, it will not exhaust Sanchita Karma. Shankara himself very clearly mentions that. No amount of karma can exhaust your Sanchita Karma. And all these are just actions. Whether it is Nitya Karma, whether it's meditation, whether it's Sudarshan Kriya, whether it is any other thing you do, whether it's fasting, japa, all of that comes under karma. And in Atma Bodh, we very clearly understood karma is a product of avidya.
Correct.
So avidya, using avidya, something which is a product of avidya, you cannot remove avidya. How can avidya be gone? It can only go with its direct opposite, which is vidya. No amount of darkness in a dark room, you're taking buckets and buckets and you're trying to remove the darkness using buckets of, you want to remove the darkness with buckets and buckets. How is it possible? Darkness will continue. All you require is that light, just that little spark of light. And in that instant, the whole darkness goes.
I think what Sarlaji was saying about the breath, it was like when we when we are preparing ourselves with the help of the knowledge, with sadhana, with satsang, like all the type of sadhana you can say. So in that process, basically what happens is that your breath automatically, that frequency you can say, or you can say the amount of breath which we are taking in a minute, like it becomes more of a steady breath, and it becomes it's not that you are taking doing some effort for maintaining it in a very, that breathing becomes shallow, and it becomes the breath taken are the people who are anxious or they are into that state, their breathing is very fast. If you can notice that after your sadhana, if you notice your breath just after sadhana and you notice after watching TV, there would be a lot of difference. So what I was just trying to, I was just listening was that if we are doing those our uh, purusharth or sadhana, then then the breath is automatically taken care of. And it is that must, in that context must be that Guruji's statement was there that your breath would help you. The breath is helping us to make that the mind is quiet. So the breath is also very in a balanced way. It is coming and going. That inhalation exhalation part is so important because it is from that you get that prana, no? The life force.
No doubt. No doubt it will aid in cleaning us. That is absolutely no question about that. See, again, it does not mean because karma, doing any amount of karma, you will not get knowledge, does not mean you will not do karma, does not mean you will not practice your pranayam, your sadhana. No, that it does not mean that. Both, it should not be understood that way as well. They have a role to play. No doubt that they have a role to play.
Yeah,
But
it will
is that
spontaneously, breath will be taken care of spontaneously when you are walking on this path, doing all your purushartha, that will happen automatically.
But that
You
is
won't have
not going to take
effort.
away your sanchita karma, which is what Sarlaji had mentioned.
Yeah,
So
no,
she
that will not
quoted
take away.
Gurudev. Yeah, so I think when we quote Gurudev, we should be a little, all of us, I think, even including me, we should quote him in the context.
Yeah, it
Because
is a
otherwise,
depth of like his words come out from very depth. So that depth and that background is so important to understand.
It's important.
Yeah.
Because he himself had said at one point, no amount of what you're doing will get you moksha. And then he said, this is very deep. Then you will all think, why are we doing all of this?
Yeah.
So it should be in the context. Wherever, whoever we are quoting, whether we are quoting Shankara or any Swamiji, it should be even Krishna. It should be in the context.
Right.
Beautiful. So, Brahmaraj, here Nitya Karma includes all those Sandhya Vandana and Agnihotra only as per the Shastra, or it includes those Yajna also, like Bhuta Yajna, Jnana Yajna, what we do. Like offering food to the birds and animals, or maybe.
Yeah, I think
Nitya is same. Like Nitya is always, it is happening. No, Nitya. The work which you are doing daily, Nitya, is Nitya Karma. I think it includes all.
So all activities which you do as a part of your routine life also. It is not that just the Agnihotra or Sandhya Vandana or Puja or those things. It includes everything.
I think it includes our profession also, no, Dr. Brahmara? Does it include our profession also?
If you're looking at Nitya Karma as what is ordained by Shastra, by Shruti, then it is limited to whatever Agnihotra, Agnishtoma, all of those yajnas.
But Shastra also says to do your job in a right way. So will it not come into that category? Like the Shastra says that you, whatever your profession is, whatever your job,
we take a holiday in our job also, no? So how can it be a Nitya Karma?
We take holiday, but it is not enjoined by the Shastra to take a holiday.
That's why
So
Nitya Karma is
if
daily, no?
if we are not
This is an
doing
interesting argument, and Sarlaji, you brought out a very good point there, that we take a holiday. Yeah, I think that becomes our karma, swakarma. That is not nitya karma. Your swakarma is based on your varnashrama, based on your what you're supposed to do. That becomes your swakarma, right? Whereas nitya karma is apart from, although I know I had mentioned earlier, in modern age, all that we do is also considered as nitya karma. But nitya karma, giving its definition as that is ordained from the Shastra, from the Shruti, is maybe yeah, all those that are is laid out in the Shastra. Let me get some clarity on this. I'll ask Nana about it. Actually, Nitya Karma, we did some research earlier in the beginning. It is Snana, Japa, Sandhya Vandana, then this, what else?
All the yajna.
Adhyayana, yeah.
Shastradhyayana,
Yeah. All that will come under the Nitya Karma. There are, I think, 7 different things that are mentioned there.
So all activities related to the Shastra, like
According
related
to the Shastra.
Dharma, Sanatan
Right.
Dharma. No,
Yeah.
that would be Nitya Karma. Okay.
But what I remember, what Nana had mentioned, when we had asked him what Nitya Karma is, he said anything that you take, which is like reading, chanting, all of that, pick up something and then continue it every day without a break. That would also amount to it being Nitya Karma. But let me get some clarity on this. Is anything that we do in line with the Shastra, in line with Sanatana Dharma, with something with respect to chanting, is that only? Or, like, for instance, simple example is like you're cleaning your front yard. You're doing it every day. Does that become Nitya Karma? I don't know. We'll need to check that out.
If we are washing ourselves and we are
Karma
washing
and
the house,
akarma theory can work here, I think. Means that is natural, no? That will not incur much pap punya, but it is for the cleaning purpose. Cleaning, like some karmas, which doesn't give any result.
Of course, it has a result. You clean yourself, you
Drishtaphala,
some infections.
Drishya
Isn't
and
it?
Drishtaphala. Okay, correct.
There is.
taking
Any
a bath
karma has
every
a
day,
result, no doubt about it.
It's like taking a bath every day will definitely, in a long period of time, it will give some adrisht phalas. It is not that you are taking some effort to do, no? Consistently you are doing it.
That is
It
why
is
it
not
is
that.
came into Nitya Karma.
Yeah, it
But
could be.
But I'm sorry, I will not discuss now.
No, go ahead. Don't restrict yourself, Sarlaji. What you want to say, please.
Actually,
say.
I want to say, means it doesn't matter in the, like Vedas, what it says, ki it gives papa and punya. We are doing it for the sake of only cleaning outside. But our mumukshatva, that for that it is different, no? For mumukshatva, whatever we are doing, that karma, which incurs papa and punya, and nitya karma is also in that category. That's what I was saying, like getting clean, the surrounding around us will give comforts to us. But if it is benefiting, that's also true. If it is benefiting the neighbor or neighborhood, then it may be the good karma.
See, one other benefit of doing Nitya Karma, which is very important, is if you were not doing this, you would end up doing something which you might accrue papa. You might accrue durita. Like, for instance, now the time that you're doing your Nitya Karma, the time that you're spending time to do Sudarshan Kriya, your Sahaj, whatever yoga, all that you're doing, that time you will not engage yourself in doing something else, which you might accrue some papa, isn't it? So the benefit of doing
Correct.
Nitya Karma is it'll
Avoiding
keep you
the
steady.
duritas.
Yeah. It'll keep you steady on the path. And with what attitude you do, it will clean you. I mean, it will give you that inner cleanliness. If your attitude is only towards dharma, artha, kama, then you are kind of on a different boat into samsara. But if your attitude is only towards moksha, it will cleanse you. It will give you that antakarana shakti.
No,
Because
my take is we have to follow the karmanyavadikaras. Whatever, you need not worry about the results, what it is giving, what it is not giving. We have to just do our vidita karma. It is for knowledge, okay. What it does, what it's okay. But we need not go so deep, what it gives, what it not gives. Because again, we will come to the that karmanyavadikarastu, we are doing for the sake of the results. That should not be there. I think
Ekam Saranam Raja.
see, all this we are discussing
knowledge,
so
what
much
it does,
within
what
karma and karma phala and all that, no? But all this is in the realm of Maya.
Yeah.
All this is in the realm of Maya.
And I was thinking the timeline. So where is night and where is day? So how the karma will happen and Nitya karma will happen? Again, that question came to my mind.
You are eating, you are sleeping, everything. That is Nitya karma, no? It just happens. Very good.
Actually, I was just thinking like the small that Bhagwan had ordered 3 times taking bath and eating only 1 time meal. It was because our Nandiji, he changed while coming back from Swarga to earth. He changed it to 3 times eating and 1 time bath. So if had it been the other way, and snana as a nitya karma 3 times, it would have been much better journey towards the moksha. Only eating 1 time meal would have really.
That's why Sandhya is 3 times. No, it is like taking an inner bath.
Yeah. We take bath, no? Before,
yes, before Sandhya.
So 3 times bath is so important, and 1 time meal is also so important. Rather than eating so many years, I feel 1 time meal
truckload.
It is less load on the Annapurna, the one who is cooking, and less load on the stomach of the one who is eating.
Now Shravan's Mass has started, so we can keep at least 1 month.
Who is the one who you said changed it, Bela?
Nandiji, our Mahadev's Nandi.
Ah, okay. According to Puranas, is that what it is?
Yeah, that is why he was cursed, that you have to bear the load now by plowing the fields. That is what my mother-in-law had told the story. That because he changed the whole sentence to 1 time bath and 3 times meal, then he has to produce the farm. I mean, that much in the fields he has to work.
And even means it is so true. Only that Nandi means Baal works only in the fields, not a cow or something like that.
but this is just
So that is swakarma. Swakarma. We cannot say only flow. No, you have to do work.
no, but over the years, I myself have experienced eating mitahari is much better than really it is. Yuktahara viharasya, that shloka is so apt. I'm sorry to distract the whole discussion.
Yukta chetasya, that karma also, no?
Okay, shall I read further or we can?
Yeah, are you able to read? We have about 7 minutes.
Yeah, shall I read?
Brahmaraji, you can check it with the Nanaji also, huh? That Nitya Karmas.
I will check with him.
Yeah, that reminds me when we can have session, Brahmaraji. I'm sorry to.
Yeah.
When we can have session with Nanaji, it's been long time.
I will check with him.
Yeah, please. And I request kindly keep it on Saturday.
I will check and I'll come back to you.
Means after, on 18th chapter, he can first, means what I think I want from Nanaji. So he can explain chapter 18 to us. Then our queries will come spontaneously again. Because we have stuck somewhere in a finer point, at finer points. Distinctions.
Yeah, for that, what we can do already is 18th chapter. He's already
about
given us. No, we can go and revise those videos that are there, and then do a little more study ourselves, try and understand, and then get to him. Yeah, you're able to read, Bela, or do you want me to take over?
Yeah, no problem. I have. Avidya being the cause of all karma, Jnana alone destroys it in one stroke. Now Shankara comes back to his original statement. Knowledge is the only cause for the destruction of karma, which has its basis in ignorance. Every karma produces a result, and karma, as we have seen, is threefold in terms of the means of doing it. It can be physical, kaika, oral, vachika, or purely mental, manasa. Though all three imply the use of the mind. When you sing in praise of the Lord, two things are involved, the voice as well as the mind. Whereas when you do meditation, it becomes purely mental. If we look at karma in terms of these three means of doing an action, we have a general format for analyzing all forms of prayer. It does not matter whose prayer it is. It will be covered by this format. And every form of prayer is as valid as another. Whether it is a Muslim's prayer or a Christian's prayer or a Jain's prayer or a Parsi's prayer or the prayer of someone from an African tribe, it is as valid as the Vedic prayer, because prayer is prayer. Whether it is a Vedic prayer or any other prayer, there will be a result, punya. Now, by whom is this karma done? There is an agent who says, I am the doer. In the vision of the Gita and the Upanishads, you are not the doer. You are Sat Chit Ananda Atma, and you perform no action. In your presence, all actions are done. The sense organs move about among their respective sense objects. Atma does not perform any action at all. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. Aham na kinchit karma karomi. Therefore, to perform an action, you must have the avidya, ignorance, leading to the conclusion, I am the doer, karta. A karma that is done with this notion is born only of avidya, whether it is an auspicious shubha karma, one that brings jnana, or an inauspicious one, ashubha, that brings papa. Both are based on ignorance, and therefore the cause for their exhaustion is knowledge alone. I repeat, there is a breaking of internet. Now, by whom is this karma done? There is an agent who says, I am the doer. In the vision of the Gita and the Upanishads, you are not the doer. You are Sat Chit Ananda Atma, and you perform no action. In your presence, all actions are done. The sense organs move about among their respective sense objects. Atma does not perform any action at all. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. Aham na kinchit karma karomi. Therefore, to perform an action, you must have the avidya, ignorance, leading to the conclusion, I am the doer, karta. A karma that is done with this notion is born only of avidya, whether it is an auspicious shubha karma, one that brings punya, or an inauspicious one, ashubha, that brings papa. Both are based in ignorance, and therefore the cause for their exhaustion is knowledge alone. The karta has been gathering a lot of karma in his various accounts due to ignorance. One account is a term deposit called sanchita karma. The second is a current account, the karmas he is currently gathering, the agami karmas. Of course, there is the prarabdha karma, which is the third. All these are standing in the account of the karta as long as the karta is there. How are you going to exhaust them? By doing nitya karma or anything else, you are only adding to them. Or perhaps if you are doing them with the proper attitude as a yoga for gaining the right type of mind, as a result of those karmas, you will gain the right mind and you will come to appreciate the fact, I am not the doer, I am a karta. Then whatever karma has accumulated in your account, old or new, is destroyed by knowledge. So beautiful. Knowledge, vidya, is the cause for their exhaustion in one stroke. Why one stroke? You knock off the kingpin, and when you do that, all that is resting on that falls apart. It is like the dreamer waking up. All the karmas done by that dreamer, good and bad, are cancelled. He cannot demand that someone that he loaned money to in the dream has to pay him back. If a person is accused like that, he can only say, if you meet me in your dream tonight, I will pay you then. This is a meaningless thing. Once a person wakes up to the reality of the Atma being a karta, there is no longer any karma standing in his account. This is what we call moksha. The avidya is the kingpin. To knock that off, you have to bring in knowledge, vidya. I think this we will repeat tomorrow once again. Right, Pankaji? We can repeat this whole thing. Avidya.
Yeah.
To I stop here?
We'll stop here. What a
So
beautiful
having
way to conclude this.
Brahmaji, like concluding this paragraph, it is that you don't own that doership, that kartritva bhav. If you drop that akarta, then you will be
no karma will affect you.
No karma will will have the standing karmas will not be there. No foundation of the karmas would be there. Right?
Yes, yes. Although the prarabdha karma you will have to go through, that is there. That is, pain is there, but suffering is optional, right? So suffering will not be there if you're in this akarta bhav. Yeah. Which is what we've seen. All these great saints who go through a lot of so-called physical pain, it didn't affect them at all.
Yeah, they must be affected, but they take it as a prasada. So the intensity must be there because it's a body, but they would be taking it with that mindset that it is the prasada from the God, and you have to living with that knowledge that you have to you have to go through this prarabdha, you have to bear it, and only then they will be washed off.
No, that attachment will not be there for the body consciousness.
Yeah, that is true.
So automatically you are overcoming the pain. Pain is, they think it is for the body, not for you. That is the attitude. So it is not for me. It is body is taking the prarabdha karma. It is not for me. I am Satchitananda. No suffering. Only the Ananda. And that is our happiness program.
Yeah. She is talking like a saint. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev. Sorry.
No, no need to be sorry. We have to repeat these words again and again.
Yeah, very beautiful. Very, very profound. Yeah, anyone would like to share?
We'll conclude here.
Okay.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
निरुपम नित्य निरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहं कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारगेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावानघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया